do, but you don't really answer.
No, on like class time.
Oh.
I can't even come back home at like 8 o'clock at night. Stop streaming. All right. So anyway, so at this yesterday we talked about it. You have to have 3 decimal places. You have to write shit down. Because I cannot give you a point if you don't write certain things. So I'm gonna go through a fast breakdown of this, and I'm gonna go through some other question if I have a chance. But I will reset my calculator. Most of you guys, actually, Michaela, did you post a link? Okay, Michaela posted a link about how to use TI-84, TI-Inspire. I did 2 years ago. So he has a link. She has a link about how to use TI-Inspire if you have TI-Inspire. If you don't have one, you gotta borrow one in the library. But right now I'm gonna teach you how to use TI-84 because generally most of you guys have TI-84. So I'm gonna take that as a thing. So here I'm gonna start with second plus 712 because that's how I reset my calculator to the factory setting. So and if you have TI-Inspire, there's a red button on the back of your calculator. You can use pencil to stick through and it will actually reset the calculator. But I don't know if they have one for TI-84, but I know you can reset the calculator electronically by second plus 712. So if your calculator ever give you an issue, you can press those buttons. So what are those buttons? Resets. I talked about it yesterday, right? Huh?
No.
Second plus 712. Okay, so that's reset the calculator or the button in the back. The problem is if you have stuff saving in there, then it will erase all. So first thing is I want to talk about is initial conditions here. Now this is kind of important, but not important at the really beginning question because it's not effective here. So now at t equal to 1, and we want to say speeding up or slowing down. So that means I will have to compare a of t to b of t. Okay, Ava, are you paying attention? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to type in the equation. I'm going to say a of t is equal to, now if you want a natural log, usually it's the inverse of natural log, e to the x here. So that's going to be cosine of x here. And that's how I graph this one. Now, not only that, I need to compare with the velocity with acceleration. So I'm going to take a derivative here by pressing math. Because I'm going to graph the derivative of it. So it's math. N derivative is 8, and then x, and then bar, and y bar function, y1, and x equal to x. Everybody knows how to do that, right? Okay, so now we're going to graph it. It looks like this. Now, personally, I will talk about a window setting. I'm really emphasizing on window setting because a lot of time you see a whole straight line. That means your window setting is probably something is wrong or radian is wrong. Or I need to make sure it's in radian. So it's radian is good. So I'm going to go from -1 to 6 because they say it's 0 to 5. So I want a little bit of room front and back. And I graph here and I can see this. Now you see this below x-axis. I don't see how far I go. So I'm going to go below x-axis. I'm going to go a little bit further to like maybe -40. So -40 here. Hopefully that's going to see better things. And you can also adjust using the thing. So now I see the whole completely graph. I like this. So I'm going to go from this. So that's how do you clean everything up. So that way you can get a value much more easier. And the window, I will says, yeah, but anyway, we're gonna get there. So first I'm gonna say a t equal to 1. So the quickest way is to actually use table. So it'll be second table and you're done. Do you see this 2 value there? It's presented both simultaneously, but you cannot just say they both positive and negative. You actually write down the evidence. What do you mean by evidence? If you don't write down like this, then they won't give you the point because you cannot say they both positive, negative. No, you have to write down v of 1 is equal to 1.469 and the a of 1 is equal to -0.819. you had to provide the evidence of what they are. And then if you want to justify, are they slowing down, speeding up, you have to say b of 1 is greater than 0, a of 1 is less than 0, therefore slowing down. And that's all you have to write. You don't have to write a lot. Did everybody get this point? Pretty easy, right? Okay, find the average velocity. Now the problem, some of you guys, I walk around last period, I look at Krishan's paper and I say, oh, he just write down the number. That will not give you points. You have to write down what is in the front. The average velocity is actually average value of velocity. So it's actually 1 over b minus a, integration of v of t dt. In this case, is between 2 to 4. So this one is going to be between 4 to 4 subtract 2. Like this. And if you write out like this and you got an answer, that will be fine. You don't have to define v of t because I already told you what a v of t is. But if you don't have this right down, I'm going to say this again. If you just write an answer, whatever the answer is, that's not right. Okay, so here I can actually do this. I'm going to go outside calculate the value. So I'm going to go to alpha here. Now some calculator doesn't have this fraction button. Some of you guys does, but you don't have to have that, right? You don't have to have that. Alpha this, but some people don't have it. I think some calculator doesn't have it. Yours don't have it, right?
Mine?
Does it have fraction?
Yeah.
Okay. Does some people don't have a fraction? Okay, then don't worry about it. So then I would just do integration like this, math, 9. We would know between 2 to 4, so 2 and 4 here. Is that okay? And the bar, y bar, y1, dx. And then once I did that value, I'll divide it by 2. Okay, so that's going to be negative 20.163. And this is a value. Now, some people only write a purple box. That will not get a credit if you don't write the things in the front. Ava, you following me?
Yeah.
Do you know how to use some decimals?
I got it now, but like before I had negative 20.84.
Is this okay?
Wait, how do you
Now, some people, they can do this. So you see, I don't want to type this thing. I just press second enter, will repeat those questions. And I'll insert here. Some people says I want to do like this. Well, sorry, like this. Then that's going to be 1 over 4 minus 2. And
Wait, do you have that?
no, you don't have to do this, but you're going to get the same answer. So I'm going to show it to you. They have the same answer, but some people calculate doesn't have a fraction button. Okay, if you have I'm still thinking about require you to actually do it with the calculator because and that's worse to worse because it's much easier. So I'm not kind of switching back and forth, but I hear somebody says in stats they still using calculator. And I agree, I kind of agree with that.
Wait, Mr. Ye, how did you get the integration one?
Math 8, math 9.
Math 9.
You got it?
How do I get out of the table?
Second mode. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So now that's the average acceleration. So average velocity. Now average acceleration, the only thing difference, this one is going to be v of 4 minus v of 2 over 4 minus 2. If you don't have to write it down, you cannot get a point. You have to write this down. And then you can write down the answer if you want. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to use in term here and term 4 minus bar, y bar function, y1, 2, and parenthesis, enter. And then that's going to be this, but you had to divide it by 2 at the end. So I can do that. It'll be negative 16. And you don't have to do any further, but you cannot just write a number. I'm going to say again. You cannot write down just negative 16.306. I will not give you a point. I'll give you a 0. And you're going to cry to me. And I'm going to be like, I told you so. Right? And there's a proof because it's on the live stream.
What if we like for number or for B? What if we like rounded one of the numbers and like I'm only like point decimals away?
You have to have 3 decimals. You cannot have 2 decimals. Just cannot. Right now, you're just trying to beat the system. And the system is really easy to beat. This is worth 27 points. And that's exactly 3 question FRQ. That is exactly a quarter of your test. Imagine how crazy it is. A quarter of your test. And if you just got this quarter of test, got 100% correct, and you Christmas tree everything on multiple choice, you were to get a 3. So for those of you guys bad in this class, this is your golden ticket. Ava, that's why I say you need to do your homework. That's your golden ticket.
No, it's my golden ticket.
This is a ticket that you're gonna get a 3, and then you can move on with the A, and that's done with.
Life will be good because I'll be taking BC.
No.
I'll have you next year.
No.
Are you sure?
I will miss you, but no. I'm not that bad of a teacher.
Oh.
CC's hard.
Oh yeah.
No, it's not that bad. I think Ava and Ava probably. What I would I would say this. There are some people I suggest don't take BC. There's a reason for that, because BC have a part called sequence and series. Either that's going to be the hardest thing for you, or that can be the easiest thing for you. But you have to have that thinking skill. And if you don't have that thinking skill, I really don't prefer you take it, because that part is either you have it or you don't. That's the problem of BC. In AB, everybody can using hard working to fight through it. But in that sequence and series, either you have it or you don't. So it's very much like a talent in that specific topic. So no, I won't suggest everybody to take BC. So if at the end of the year you come talk to me, I will say what's the best route for you. But if some student, let's say Omar, for example, Omar, he can take a BC, but he don't want to, and I thought he's weak. So and that's just the things that I think like certain people should take BC, some people should not. Now, if you are major in every other major except engineering, you don't need a BC. That's only thing that you need a BC if you're engineering, or if you're math and physics, or stats. Math, physics, stats, or engineering. No other science require anything higher than Calc 2, Calc 1. So you finish this class and you're done with it. You heard that, doctor? If you, let's say let's say Iris or from last year, she got a 5 in AB, and I beg her to take BC, but she don't want to. But she's right. She don't have to, because she's trying to be a doctor. Why should she need it? Omar, same thing. But I just thought like, Omar, the reason why Omar I was upset about is because if you go to medical school, this class is gonna be a joke compared to medical school. It's too easy. And if you really want to train to be a doctor, you want to handle all the hard courses, just make your brain to like expanding your brain a little bit further. And I really think that he should have done it because he have ability to do it. And like to take an easy way out, and I don't believe in that. So anyway, that's me renting. I like Omar, by the way. I thought he's funny and he's a good catalyst to the class. Huh?
What?
I'm not lying. I actually like him.
Who? who's the catalyst this year?
For this class, Laura.
What about like in general?
Laura. You're a good catalyst. You make it like class like laugh.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be a good thing?
Yeah. Sometimes.
It's a good thing. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this class is very depressing if you really just look at the grade. We need somebody happy.
No, if I was a junior, I think I'd be depressed. Now that I'm a senior.
All right, so total displacement. So this one just without absolute value, and this is without absolute value, and just gonna get done. So here it's gonna give you math 9 between 1 to 5, and the y bar, and the y bar here function y1 and the x, and then you can get done here is going to be negative 51.987. Is that okay? Now, you have to put a boundary. Now, a lot of people don't know what the absolute value button is. I'm going to show you. There's the absolute value button. So let's say between, here we want it between 0 to 3. So I'm going to say 0 to 3, but I want a total distance, so therefore it's absolute value. So therefore, I'm going to go into says this is 0 to 3. And I need an absolute value here, so I'm going to insert here absolute value. So absolute value is in two way you can get absolute value. One is math number here, or I like the second 0 because that's a catalog. That's all the function that you have, and the first function is absolute value. And I'm going to type in y bar function y1. Do you guys know what the absolute value is now?
Yeah. No.
Okay, I'm going to show you again. But if I do absolute value, second, 0. And the first thing on the top is absolute value. Okay, got it? And this total distance is 12.83. You did not get that? Try it now.
I got 9.02.
Maybe you didn't do absolute value.
That just makes it.
Okay, any questions here? Now, this question is one of the hardest questions. They say find the time where speed equal to 35. There was 2 ways to do it. I prefer this way. I prefer a certain way. So is v of t, which is this one. But I want to do absolute value of v of t because we're talking about speed. We're not talking about velocity. So I had to use the second absolute value again of the y1, because I set my third function like that, right? So technically, you're supposed to v of t is equal to 35. You're supposed to graph 2 functions. You're supposed to go down and you graph 35. Oops, my bad. 35 here. And the problem is, when you do that, it's actually a slower way to do it. If you graph it, the problem is I have to unhighlight all those unnecessary functions. I can unhighlight them so I don't have to graph them. And I graph velocity in 35, but the problem is I didn't see 35, so I need to change the window. So that's why I say it's bad. I'm going to go to, let's say, 40 here. And that way I can see 35. Do you see this? This? That's your answer. But there was an easier way to do it, though. Easier way is to move this 35 to the other side. So be v of t minus 35 equal to 0. And if you do this, you're just going to look for the x-intercept. And this is a faster way to do it because that way you only have to look at the one function. So this one's going to go to minus 35. And all you got to do is look at the x-intercept, which is much easier. It's right here, here, here. Same spot, second calc, I'm going to find out zeros. So I'm going to 0 here. A lot of people don't know how to find 0. You should have learned that last year with Mr. Ollie or Mr. Kinch. Do you guys remember that? You press enter. And you press enter here. And then they say guess. You're going to press enter again. And you're going to get the first value. Now, if you do the same thing, you're going to get 2 out of value. So I'm going to write down the value. So t is equal to 3.761. Everybody understand? And the second calc, 0. And I'm going to press enter here to the right side of here. And I'm going to press enter here. So it's 4.07. And the last one, I'm gonna do, I think use trace. You have to find the zeros. You cannot use trace. So you have to do 0. You actually have to go to the left bound of this 0, press enter. And right side of this, press enter. And you gotta press enter again. So 4.96. So that's why I use 6, because 4.96 is really close to 5. I want my windows a little bit over. So what if I have some values 4.96? I can see they actually intersect, because a pixel, that pixel, each pixel is 0.1-ish or 0.01. So that's very, very small. So you might not see all the pixels. So that's our problem. Yes.
How did you know there were 2 zeros in that one curve?
Because if I don't believe myself, I can always zoom in. Very good question. Like if I says, hey, how do I know? And I'm not sure. Then I really need to look, because it does look like it's a little bit above and underneath. So I'm gonna look into it. Very good question.
Wait, I got. Oh,
Go ahead.
I got only one of the x values, but that was only because I put like for the y3, I put equals 35, and then I looked at 35, and I looked which one each x is.
Yeah, but you should get the same thing. So that's just try that. If I did that 35, you should get the same thing. The problem is you probably didn't. It's like what Ember saying is like, how do you know that's two graph? First of all, at my window is 0 to 6. My window is gonna.
I didn't put the absolute.
Yeah, you need to put an absolute value.
I don't get that.
Because of speed. It's not velocity is equal to 35. It's speed equal to 35. Speed equal to absolute value of velocity. If I drive forward, it's positive. It's driving negative. If I drive forward 20 miles per hour, that's positive 20 velocity. If I drive backward, it's negative 20 miles per velocity. But if in terms of speed, it doesn't matter which direction I'm driving, so it's absolute value of that. So that's why you need absolute value of VFT. Addison?
At that distance was the absolute value of velocity.
No, that's the integration. Integration of absolute value of velocity. It doesn't matter how far you drive forward and how far you drive backward, right? You cannot say I drive to Jacksonville is positive and I drive Miami is negative, and then they should cancel each other out. No, that doesn't work. The total distance adding it.
Wait, it says total the integration of
Absolute value of VT is total distance. Total displacements without absolute value.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it can be triangle, but this time it's not, because this graph is curvy. So you actually had to use the, yeah. But if it's straight line, then there will be a triangle. You will, instead of going down like this, it will go in like this. But it's not in this case because it's not a straight line. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm gonna zoom out for this bit. Okay, so this one would give you 2 points as well. Do you see that? There's 1, 2, 3. And that's about absolute value. Because if you didn't absolute value, this thing will go straight down, and you only see one x-intercept, but it's supposed to be 2. 2 intersections. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now this one's kind of hard because this one's talking about a graph, and I'm gonna go back to graph this one. Now this one is kind of difficult to get. I don't know if anybody got that, but it's much easier on Desmos. But if you graph this, you see this function is gonna go up. So I'm gonna say window here. I'm gonna say this one is gonna go up. This one's gonna go to 10 instead. So that way you can see it. The function's gonna go up here and come back down. So this one is gonna be the positive speed. Does that make sense? Speeding up. And this part is slow. Which part is slowing? We were looking for slowing down, right? slowing down from here to here and from here to here. Does it make sense? So it's harder to use this calculator because you want to find out the maximum at that positions here, at first part here. So I'm gonna find out the maximum here because this is what I need to find the maximum. Press enter, press enter. Hopefully I find the maximum. And that's gonna be 0.856. Did you guys get that? 0.856 to the zeros, so it'll be second calc. Now this time I'm looking for 0 rather than everything else, so it's gonna be here. Press enter and press enter. See, all the things come back to into one thing. So 1.571. Did you guys get that? Use decimals easier because you just click and you're done. A TI-84, huh? I'm thinking about no.
Wait,
I'm thinking about you guys gotta learn how to use calculator. My window is 0. I like to have this as -1 to 7 here. My window, I like this one's 10, this one's -39, so I can see the whole graph.
Not showing that.
Yeah, so you had to play your window around. This is my window. You can copy my window.
Sorry, I got 1, 2. Like the interval is like 1, 2, 1.
No. Because you didn't find the maximum. It's 0.856. You had to find a maximum of between 0 to 1.
Can you show me that on the
You had to find out because see this score is going up. So you want to find the highest point here, which is 0.856 to the here. And there's another one from the here because this is negative velocity but positive slope. So calc, I'm gonna need a minimum in that particular place. I'm gonna go with here. Minimum here, press enter and enter here, right? And that's gonna be 3.926, 3.926. 7. Yeah, I can't run. Sorry. So it'd be second calc 0 here. And then I'm gonna find the 0 at that particular point. Press enter here. Press enter here. Press enter. So it'll be 4.712.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
For the first one, you get 0.85.
Yeah.
How did you get that? Because I got 0.
Okay, let me calculate again. Maximum, maybe I did wrong. So let me go back because I did it quickly.
It's from 0 to 1.
So I press enter here. I press enter here. And I press enter here. 0.785. You're right. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so now next one. Next one I'm gonna do on the bottom. And I'm gonna have a T. I'm gonna have a 0. And obviously they intersect at 1.571. I'm gonna do both at once. I am gonna get 4.712. And I'm gonna get 5. Why do I do this? Because those are endpoints and critical points, right? So I am gonna do second calc. Huh?
You're being high. Junior iPhone.
Wait, it's out of battery.
Oh no.
Are you recording this? Like,
All right. So does this make sense? I do critical point and endpoint, so I just do integration from here to here. So I'm gonna calc I'm gonna second calc, and I'm gonna start with finding the integral. So it'll be 7, and I'm gonna say 0 to 1.571, and that's gonna give you that. So at 0, we're gonna get 0, of course. Oh, actually, at 0, am I at 0?
It's 0 and what?
At 0, what's my positions? It's -2. Good job, Edison. Why? And the second one's a -2 plus the integration 0.1571. So this is here. And that's equal to 1.905. So it'll be 1.905. So it'll be negative 0.095, I believe, if I count it wrong. Yeah. So because you're gonna adding the -2 because that's the initial position. So if I want to find out where is the positions, right, where, then that's actually 0.095. And I'm going to do -2 plus integration from 0 to 4.712 v of t dt. And if you see here, it'll be second calc from 0 to what? 4.712. But you're gonna add, you're gonna subtract 2, so it'll be -58. 158. Does that make sense? And I'm gonna do from 0 to 5.
Yeah.
And that's gonna give you -52.
Wait, Mr. Yang. But I only had, like on my chart, I had 0, 1.57, and 5. Why did we add them?
Because I want to answer both questions at once. So furthest right, that means the most positive. Which one's most positive? This one's right, right? And this one is the left. Would you say?
How did you get the shaded thing?
I do second, trace, now do 7, and I'll do 0, and 5, and I'll shade it.
So wherever the integral is the most positive is where it's farthest to the right.
The result, because that's displacement. So all the things that where the location is. So right now I start at -2, I go in a little bit to the right, and then I go a lot left, and then I go a little bit to the right. So those are the indication of my positions.
Is your justification in the table?
Yep. I don't need to say any further. If I have a table, that's it. I don't need to write sentences.
Maybe it's right to output like that, right?
Yeah. And please make sure you write down this part. Like this part is very, very important. If you don't write this, I will not give you a point. I must say that right now. And later on, you're going to argue with me. You got a 0, and I'll be like, watch a live stream. I told you. And it's not because I want to penalize you. It's just because the rubric wanted you that way. And hopefully you understand that.
Mr. A,
Yeah.
for 2C on like the first worksheet, how would you justify like the highest one?
The same thing. Use table. But they also have initial condition, I think. Okay, some people didn't know how to do the first one here. I want to talk about this particular first questions here. If I have more time, I'll talk more. Did you guys get that value? Did you get 3 for f of -2? Did you get 3? Peter got it, right? F of -6. Did you get what? Did you get 3? Okay, I'm gonna show you how to do it. I'm gonna show you the easiest way to approach this. You don't have to spend too much brain. This usually give you the lower bound. Why does that give you lower bound? That's gonna be integration -2 to -6 of f prime of x dx, right? I'm gonna write out on the other side. is that equal to f of 6 minus f of -2? Does that make sense? If I just write it out. Now, that means this area right here, but since this is on wrong bound, this is 4, so this one should be end up with -4. Do you understand why it's -4? Because the boundary went from -2 to -6. So from -2 to -6 is equate. This is equate to equal to negative from -6 to -2 of f prime of x, which is, that's exactly the orientation we get here is 4, but since the negative sign, it's going to be -4. That's equal to f of -6 here. So what's f of -6? We don't know, right? And we do know this one is 7. So if I move the 7 over, it'd be 3 equal to f of -6. Did you guys get that? Because this is how I write out fundamental theorem calculus. And I have to use -2 as a bound because -2 is the initial condition. You got? Can you do it? Write it out same way. Why are you guys laughing? I'm like passive aggressive.
Go.
I hate my son does that. When he was young, he goes like sigh. Yeah.
Oh.
He's like sigh. Huh?
That's so nonchalant.
Well, it's better than gulp. There's no difference. He was saying an expression out loud.
Oh, the sound. Oh my god.
You got it or no? 13?
I got -5 -2.
Okay, f of 5. So it'll be -2 to 5, right? F of t dt, right? Is equal to f of 5 minus f of -2. Did you write out this part? If you write out this part, you get points. Okay, so from -2 to 5, it's going to be here. That is going to be all the way to here. So it'll be, I think it's a -2 pi, right? Plus what? 3 is equal to f of 5 minus f of -2, which is 7, right? So it'll be 10 minus 2 pi. Is that okay?
That's actually funny. Emo. You just called your son emo.
Expression.
My oldest son, no, he's not.
No, your son, he's like a ray of sunshine.
Which one? The younger one you saw?
The one that comes here.
Oh yeah. He
That's what he said. He literally told me that he's not getting in the car. He literally told me that straight up.
I guess William is more approachable. Like compared to William and you, William's more approachable. Would you say like if it's just a stranger like come up to both of you guys, I would say William's more approachable.
Just because he's Asian?
That's probably could be a factor too because he's Asian, so you probably prefer an Asian person, right?
Why do you think I'm not approachable? Why is everyone quiet? Which one is it?
Why are you silent?
No, I feel
Like, there's like guy who's supposed to go with her. Huh? Like little kid, like guy.
no, my mom says like
Supposed to go with the guy.
when I'm smiling and I have like a bit.
That's kind of true.
No, I don't.
RBF?
Yeah.
Sometimes she does.
Really nice. I literally walk like this.
No, I think if I were another person, I wouldn't look like that. Me neither. Like I would.
No, Laura, you're a big catalyst. It's like you know how in chemistry, right? You know in chemistry, are you taking AP Chem? You know how catalysts reduce activation energies.
She did because the cat was so happy.
What happened?
He was like, oh, there's all this on. Please.
You had some like AP Bio, AP Chem?
No, I can keep exposure. How do we do that?
You need to say thank you.
No, like literally. That is like life. I could say it again for the
You need a passport to go on a cruise out of the country. Right, right?
Rajesh, why do you have to skip on important days? Why you skip on important days?
You can't fly into the country. That's okay. That could not have been important. That was so easy. I'm so sorry. Like, I looked at the homework. I was like, there's no way this. I've seen other people complain about it. I was like, this is not hard. I did the whole thing. And then I showed Nathan, and he was like, oh, this actually looks good. I was like, yeah. It took like 7 pages.
Yeah, this is kind of tedious, right?
Yeah. But it's not difficult. Not conceptually, it's not hard. What's the most difficult thing we'll do? Or like, a series or something?
Yeah, in terms of concept, yes. You can do avatar. Can you do avatar?
That takes 7 minutes.
6 minutes. No, it's reduced to 1 minute.
Yeah, I can try. Even if I make it last, I'll just come.
Or you can come at lunch.
I'm making lunch now, but I'm heading to lunch. I'll do it after.
Are you a junior or senior?
Junior.
Just you. It's not.